Guys, welcome back. It is Racer X, and today is actually the 5th day of the 8 days of Xmas. Yes, one video every day for 8 consecutive days leading up to Christmas Eve. And today I happen to be at the Hurst Autoplex. These are my buddies. I've been here many times. You guys have seen me do many videos here. Well, today is no exception. I've got a very cool comparison for you. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Also, guys, if you are new to my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and follow me on Instagram as well, and we are off. We got the 1,000 horsepower Hellcat. God. So this dealership is absolutely one of my favorite dealerships to film at because they just have so much cool stuff here. As you can see, we've got a couple of brand new Shelby GT500s. That one actually has the track pack on it. Here's another one in blue. I absolutely love that blue. They've got C8s here, as you can see. Over here, they've actually got a really nice red Demon, which I'll show you. And they just got another one in, and as you know, the Demons are really hard to find, only 3,000 ever made, but there's another Demon. In case you like Hellcats, they've got Hellcats, they've got GT350s, and if you like Teslas, they've got Teslas over here, and another Shelby with the track pack right here. So they've got a lot of really neat stuff, and then I'll go ahead and jump in the showroom just really quick, guys, and show you what they got. And in here, you can see we've got a C8. Check out the ZR1. This is a beautiful car. They just got this in. That thing looks awesome. And then, of course, over here, another Shelby GT500. And, of course, you can't leave out the Camaro ZL1 1LE. So it's like almost Christmas.
Hell yes. Now,
if you are a fan of big trucks, these are your guys because they've got several of these things. These are massive. That is just an enormous vehicle. I don't know if you can tell on camera, but like my head comes to not even the hood on this thing. This is just flat ridiculous. Here's another one, equally as big. And they've got lines of these. I mean, look at that mamma jamma. Holy crap. Anyway, really cool trucks here. Let's go take a look at the cars I wanted to show you. And here are the two cars that I wanted to show you. Right here, you've got the Charger Hellcat Widebody. This is actually a Daytona version, very sharp car. And of course, there it is, Godzilla. That is the Nissan GTR. Now, I realize these two cars, besides the fact that they're both performance cars, really couldn't be any different. Obviously, the Charger Hellcat makes more power, but then again, we've got some stuff working for the GTR. So I want to jump into the differences between these two cars. Also, I'll take them for a quick spin and give you my driving impressions of the two. First, let's talk a little bit about the Charger Hellcat Widebody. This has the same power plant they've been putting in the Charger Hellcat since, really since 2015. And but there are some differences, obviously. Now that they're making the Hellcats in the Widebody, you get more meat under there. So yeah, these are all-season P0s, but they are 305s, so they're really nice and wide. That is on all four corners. As you can see, the grille, obviously, for this model here is a little bit different as well. So definitely some distinctive differences. Now, on the Daytona, you can see here, you've got a little bit of a different graphics package on this car. The seats are a little bit different, which I will show you. There you go. So they are very distinctively Daytona. And then, of course, you've got a dash plaque here as well. And I believe you get some differences on the instrumentation. So I do like the fact that in the Hellcat, you do get kind of that carbon fiber trim there. And in the Charger Hellcat, obviously different than the Challenger, you get kind of a very neutral driving feel in this, whereas in the Challenger, of course, it is a driver-centric dash, and it kind of wraps around towards you. So just a little bit of difference. And there is the power plant on the Dodge Charger Hellcat. Yes, it is 6.2 liter built engine, essentially. And of course, you get a 2.4 liter supercharger sitting right on the top. This bad boy is one of the baddest sedans out there still. And very relevant engine, obviously, in the Hellcat. And of course, as we know, this is a four-door sedan. So when we talk about room, the Charger Hellcat is going to win hands down against the GTR. So let's talk a little bit more about the GTR. So the GTR is just an all-around different kind of car. I mean, like I said, besides the fact these are both performance cars, they're quite a bit different. You're talking about a 6-cylinder in this, 3.8 liter V6, but this is, of course, twin turboed. It puts out 565 horsepower, 467 pound-feet of torque, but it is a pretty striking and distinctive car, as we know. So we're talking about a turbo car versus a supercharged car, a 4-door sedan versus a 2-door car, but it is a very, very distinctive car on the road. And when you jump inside the GTR, let's go ahead and do that. See, once again, you do get kind of that carbon fiber trim, very sharp interior. The seats really hug you in this car. I can definitely vouch for that. It's not quite as roomy as the Charger, which you would expect. Now, this one is a little bit driver-centric. The dash actually wraps around towards the driver just a little bit, not quite as much as it would, say, in the Challenger, but it is a really nice place to sit. Very distinctive GTR steering wheel, and all the instrumentation in this thing, it's pretty advanced, believe it or not. And of course, the rock star of this is all your drive settings and things, but this has a all-wheel drive system that is very advanced. And I tell you what, 0 to 60, the GTR is absolutely a monster, and that's one of the things that makes it so much fun to drive. So here is the power plant on the GTR, hand built, as you can see. I'll go ahead and show you, but this engine is just beautiful. So really, really sharp looking power plant on this thing. One of the striking things that this is like a $110,000 car and it has a prop rod. I've always thought that's kind of interesting because actually the Shelbys, they actually went to a system that no longer uses prop rods. But hey, you know what? Weight savings where you can, right? So I will say this one does have the large 6-piston Brembo brakes, as you can see, and also the Hellcat. When we look at that, as we know, this thing has some massive Brembo brakes on it as well. So both of these cars have a lot of stopping power. Now, when we talk about the weight of these two vehicles, you're looking at just over 4,600 pounds. We'll say 4,650 in this. And the GTR is not light. This thing is just a shade under 4,000 pounds. But of course, when you compare it to the Hellcat, it's still easily 600 pounds lighter, maybe a little bit more, actually maybe 700 pounds. When we look at the back of the car, I do really like the exhaust on a GTR. They're very striking because they're just huge. And of course, the taillights on this car are huge. So this car has a really nice look to it in the back, and it is very distinctive going down the road, even at night. And I really do love the side profile of this car as well. One other quick thing I will tell you is the trunk on the GTR. It is, yeah, it's pretty darn small. I'm kind of standing here looking at this going, man. But you know what? People don't buy this thing for the trunk space, but when you compare it to the Charger, a lot smaller trunk space. Now, I know what some of you out there may be thinking. Racer X, why are you comparing two vehicles that sticker for, you know, such a different price? Well, fact is that this here is a 2020, and it stickers in kind of the mid to high 70s. Now, the GTR, yes, it does. It stickers at like 110,000 or more. So definitely not a cheap car to get into. However, this is actually a 2017. So when you look at kind of the used car prices, things start to make a little bit more sense when you compare the two. So this is what it looks like in the driver's seat of the Nissan GTR. Actually, a quite comfortable place to sit for a high-performance car. And as you can see, as I mentioned, the dash does wrap around towards the driver just a little bit. You've got your gear selectors here. You got your different modes. And, of course, a very easy-to-use infotainment screen here in the middle. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and start this bad boy up. I really do like the carbon fiber trim on this. It really stands out. There's the seat next to us right there, so certainly room. And you do have back seats in this, so I'll go ahead and show you those just really quick with big speakers in the back. Now, the back seats in this thing are really small. So at any rate, guys, there is what it looks like from the cockpit of the GTR. Let's take it for a little spin. Now, I know I've driven GTRs before, but I have to admit, every time I drive one of these, they do make me smile. It's just the way that they come out of, kind of from a dig, how they come out of the hole, because there's no fanfare to it, nothing. So we're coming out of a dig right now, and you just give it gas. We're out of here. it just goes. They really do. They make you smile because it doesn't feel like they have to work very hard at all for traction, even though the tires on this thing aren't all that wide. The sophisticated all-wheel drive system in this thing really does its job because you never feel like you're fighting for traction when you're driving the GTR. I suppose if I was just to mat it, maybe I might have a little bit of traction issue, but it gives you a lot of confidence when you go to drive a car like this because you know that when it comes to wheel spin, if you're trying to race somebody from a dig, this thing is going to be very formidable. Now, I can definitely hear the twin turbos under the hood of this thing. They're not overbearing or anything like that. It's not a crazy loud whine like you would find in a supercharged car like the Hellcat, but you definitely can hear those power adders under the hood doing their job. But this thing actually has some nice manners for a car that really has the ability to feel like it's trying to, you know, suck your eyeballs to the back of your head from a dig. I mean, I'm just cruising along and the car actually feels great. It feels very responsive. It feels a little bit lighter than 4,000 pounds to me, but I'm sure that's just because of all of the really advanced systems that the GTR offers. For all intents and purposes, the GTR is kind of a two-person car. I mean, unless you have somebody that's really, really little, they're not going to be able to get their butt back there. But obviously the rock star of the GTR is this engine and this all-wheel drive system, because just listen to it. There we go. Oh, man. Oh, wow. How can you not smile when you drive a GTR? They are just so much fun and just so different from driving a Hellcat. Now, I realize I'm not brake boosting the car. I'm not launch controlling the car. The car doesn't belong to me, guys. So I'm trying to be respectful of the car. And I'm really glad that the guys at Hurst Autoplex are so gracious to let me kind of use their cars to showcase what they can do and tell you guys about them. But I'm just, like I said, even just kind of putting this thing through its paces a little bit, you can definitely feel it's a very capable machine. And I still can't get over the fact that it's rated at 565 horsepower. Yes, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, 565 is a lot. But when you talk about like a Charger Hellcat that makes 707, and of course, as we know, they're getting ready to come out with the red-eye version that's going to be almost 800 horsepower. I mean, this thing just feels like it has more power than that. So the big knock on the GTR has always been, well, it's such an analog car to drive because, you know, there is so much technology packed into this thing. You almost feel a little bit disconnected when you're driving it. And I think maybe there's a little bit of truth to that. I mean, because yeah, you can definitely feel all the systems in the car working for you to help grab traction and to help kind of get the car out of the hole, all that good stuff. And everybody says, oh, you know, you can be anybody and get in that car and go fast. And maybe there's a little bit of truth to that as well. But will it put a smile on your face at the end of the day? Yes, it most certainly will. It is a highly enjoyable car to drive. Even after all these years of this platform, it just doesn't get old driving it. Listen to it. What a fun car to drive, the Nissan GTR. I tell you what, I just really enjoy driving it. I really do. Let's go hop in the Hellcat and see how things change. And here is the cockpit view of the 2020 Dodge Charger Hellcat Widebody. And you can see this is a great place to sit. Once again, there's that carbon fiber trim. You've got your gear selector here, a really nice infotainment screen here in the middle. I'll go ahead and start it up for you. So you can see there, very distinctive Hellcat. And I do really like the pages, the performance pages in this car. Once again, you get the Hellcat. Nice little storage areas here in the middle, cup holders, and of course, there you have the seats, and nice and roomy in this vehicle. So a very comfortable place to sit. Now, as many of you probably already know, I already own a Dodge Charger Hellcat. Yes, mine is a 2016. This is a 2020, but it feels identical. I mean, I'm sitting basically just like I would be sitting in my car. Very roomy on the inside of this. It is a fantastic place to sit. It's kind of strange that a car that's this fast, that has this much power, can be this comfortable. There's almost no reason it should be when you're driving it, because it has such great manners. I'm just cruising around and in complete comfort, and it's got a really nice interior to this car. So I mean, really no complaints when it comes to just how comfortable it is to drive it. Now, I realize that this is a wide body car, and I'm really glad Dodge went to that. I've always said they really need to probably put 315s underneath the butt end of all the Hellcats. And, you know, the funny thing is that even with 305s under the butt end of this, it still makes really easy work of just completely trashing the all-season P0 tires. So it's nice having the extra wide tires, but because of the way that this car makes power, it has so much torque down low, 650 pound-feet of torque, but the way it makes torque is so hard and fast that it really doesn't have a hard time you know, turning the 305s into much, just like it would the 275s. Now, the rock star of the Hellcat, as we know, is the Hellcat engine, right? 6.2 liters, 707 horsepower. Can't wait till they come out with the red-eye version of this, as I mentioned before. But in this trim, I mean, it is still such a fun car. It's still such a relevant car. I love the way that the supercharger sounds under the hood of a Hellcat. It is one of the louder superchargers on the market in a production car. Listen to it here. She just spun the tires on me really, really easy. It is amazing how that works, but the supercharger in this car just sounds so good. And it's you know, it may not be the fastest thing in the world because of the wheel spin issue. It's not that it doesn't put all the power down. It's just because it puts so much power down so fast that it really does have a hard time just grabbing. So imagine if Dodge came out with an all-wheel drive Hellcat. Now we're talking. So as I drive this around, I'm trying to come up with some things that I don't like about the Dodge Charger Hellcat. And I mean, the ride quality's good, visibility's fantastic. You can take, you know, 4 of your closest friends with you if you want to. The power puts a huge smile on your face. Yeah, I mean, maybe the weight, I could say, yeah, it's 4,600 pounds, but because the thing is so torquey, you don't really feel it that much. Now, maybe at the drag strip you would, because it's like, hey, a car with that much power should be faster than that, but it's still fast. And that's the thing, is like, you shouldn't have a car that's this big that can move this quickly. And one other thing I will mention, that I do prefer the Charger over the GTR, is the sound of it. The sound coming out of the back of this, it's just a nice burly V8. Even with the stock exhaust on it, it sounds so good. And it's not that the GTR sounds bad. Hold on. Oh, this thing is so much fun. But it's just, there's something about that V8, that just snappy, hard grumble of this car that I just like better. Okay, so how do I summarize these two cars for you guys? Because they're both so good, but for different reasons. So I'm just going to kind of categorize this. So from a sound perspective, the Charger Hellcat, I just like it better. The supercharger whine in this thing is insane. The exhaust sound is insane, and it just sounds really, really good. And the GTR sounds good too, but I like the Hellcat better. When it comes to technology, the GTR is so hard to compete with. The GTR has all this technology packed into it, and it is just, it's a beast, and it doesn't need an overwhelming amount of horsepower to just be really fast, because it does it so well. So from a technology perspective, the GTR is definitely the clear winner. The Hellcat is basically just a big sledgehammer, but that's part of what puts a huge smile on your face. So when it comes to, obviously the GTR is a more expensive car from the factory as well. I do want to obviously point that out. But when it comes to miles per gallon, they are both worth their weight in gold, because they will both definitely put a huge smile on your face. So when it comes to acceleration, from a dig, the GTR is going to get it. It's all-wheel drive. Now, top speed, the Hellcat is actually faster. I think the GTR is rated somewhere around 194, 195 mile an hour, and this car will go well over 200. I want to say 204 or 203 out in the wide body, something like that. But it's fast, faster than you're probably going to achieve on a public road for sure, more than you should. But definitely the Hellcat gets the edge in that. Also, the Hellcat gets the edge in ergonomics. So when you talk about just how much room there is to sit, room in the trunk, all that good stuff, the Hellcat, hands down. Now, when it comes to interior, a lot of people think the Hellcat interior, both the Charger and the Challenger, needs a refresh. I wouldn't necessarily disagree with that. And the GTR feels still pretty new age on the inside, although really both cars could probably use a little bit of a refresh. I will give the GTR a slight nod in that one. So there you have it for the comparison between the 2020 Charger Hellcat Widebody and, of course, Godzilla, the Nissan GTR. And both of these cars will put a huge smile on your face when you drive them. They just make you kind of laugh like a school kid, but for very different reasons. Man, these things drive way different. So I'd almost encourage you to just kind of drive the two to see which one you like better. Obviously, from a room perspective, the Charger is going to win every time. And then, of course, for all the gizmos and features and all that kind of stuff in terms of just having a lot of technology built into the car, it's hard to beat the GTR because it's just a very advanced system in that car when it comes to all-wheel drive, and just it punches way above its weight. 565 horsepower for that car. When you drive it, it just feels so underrated. So anyway, guys, it's been a really fun comparison. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below, and stay tuned because tomorrow is day 6 of the 8 days of Xmas. I will see you then. Racer X.